While watching TV, Ryan took my hand and smiled. "Your hands are so tiny," he remarked. My heart sank. I knew. He'd been holding someone else's hand. I turned to glance at Ryan. He lounged casually on the sofa, his navy satin pajamas catching faint light from the folds. Completely at ease. Utterly oblivious to the loaded implication. "What's wrong?" He arched an eyebrow. I withdrew my hand, forcing a smile. "You've been working late often. Is the company that busy lately? Miss me?" Ryan's lips curved into that charming smirk. "I'll make more time for you then." His phone buzzed. A glance at the screen showed Kevin calling. He tilted his head, listening absently while tracing patterns on his sweatpants. After a soft chuckle, he ended the call. "Gotta handle something at the office." His gaze held reluctant apology. Yet, was that a flicker of exhilaration? It reminded me of his younger self. My eyes lingered on his strong, pianist fingers. "Don't want me to go?" His laughter-warmed breath brushed my cheek as he kissed me. "I'll stay. Nothing's more important than my wife." "Don't." I pouted slightly. "Last thing I need is more tabloids calling me the seductress derailing your career." Alex cradled my face. Suddenly serious. "Evelyn, never speak like that." Those gossip accounts all retracted their statements. "You're my wife. Their opinions mean nothing." I snorted. "So cheesy." His stern expression melted into a grin. "What can I say? Men never really grow up." Rising, he changed into a tailored navy suit that accentuated his lean frame. At the doorway, he fastened his watch, catching my stare. With a soft smile, he returned to press a kiss to my hair. "Visit the boutique tomorrow." "What?" "That bag you wanted. I had them source it." My eyes widened. "How did you?" "Noticed you lingering on the magazine spread." He tapped my nose playfully. "If I couldn't read my wife's mind, what kind of husband would I be?" The door clicked shut. Silence enveloped the living room. My gaze drifted to the oversized photograph on the wall, Alex clutching me tearfully during his proposal 5 years ago. That single crystalline droplet clinging to his lashes. He'd insisted on displaying it prominently, calling it the moment true happiness began. Next morning, the sales associate eagerly presented the handbag. I froze. "Is this the correct model?" The bag in front of me was white, but I'd wanted the elephant gray one. The store manager rushed over. "My apologies, Mrs. Evelyn Wilson. We made a mistake." When I returned later for forgotten car keys, I overheard the sales associate defending herself. "Mr. Alexander Taylor ordered 2 bags. I assumed both were for Mrs. Evelyn Wilson." The manager snapped. "Everyone knows Mrs. Evelyn Wilson hates white. We're lucky she didn't make a scene." Yes. I hated white. I was a retired bombshell. At 23, branded as the innocent seductress by tabloids, I endured endless cyberbullying. Critics and competitors alike piled on until the attacks had nothing to do with reality, just vicious personal attacks. If you've already stripped, why pretend to be innocent? We've all seen how pale she is everywhere. When it became unbearable, I knelt before my parents begging for the contract termination fee. "I'd rather die than finish filming." "Then die," Mother said icily. "When you do, your father and I will take your poor brother to join you." As I left, Father followed me out sighing. "Don't blame your mother. We have no choice." I tilted my chin up, slid on sunglasses, and click-clacked away in stilettos without responding. To meet the exorbitant earnings quota in my contract, I became 2 people on camera. The sultry vixen my agency created, off-screen. A shrinking violet terrified of attention. I grew to hate white dresses. Then I grew to hate myself. Alexander Taylor entered my life during this darkness. At a charity gala, The newly appointed heir to Taylor Enterprises bypassed flocks of smiling starlets to approach me. His eyes sparkled with recognition. Class president. Long time no see. We'd been high school classmates. As academic committee chair, I'd been forced to tutor the class troublemaker. 4 years later, we reunited in my most humiliating moment. I braced for mockery. Instead, he said solemnly, "Evelyn Wilson, I should have come sooner." After that night, Alex became my relentless champion. The Taylor heir made headlines showing up at my film sets, chatting with me in corners until directors reshuffled schedules to prioritize my scenes. When producers gave me cheap, revealing outfits for my villainous role, Alex sent racks of designer gowns. He hired top stylists until I gleamed like actual Hollywood royalty. Every malicious tweet, edited scandal video, and parody account vanished overnight. The rebellious teen I'd known had become a powerful protector. I fell helplessly. But dating a B-list sex symbol cost Alex dearly. He disappeared for days once, returning with a leg brace. Skiing accident. He grinned, waving his crutch. Youthful vigor'll fix this quick. When rumors spread about him being disinherited, I panicked. He simply smiled. I chose what matters more. Years in the spotlight's gutter had erased the bright, ambitious honor student I'd been. Happiness now terrified me. I kept waiting for the fireworks to fade. Then my agent summoned me to the office where I'd signed my soul away years ago. There sat Alex, long legs casually crossed. "Evelyn Wilson," he announced, eyes dancing. "As of today, you're under my management." My eyes widened. He picked up a document from the desk and tore it to shreds before my eyes. "You're free." I later learned Alex had liquidated his entire fortune to acquire the media company I was contracted to, forfeiting his inheritance rights to the family conglomerate. To be with me, he'd endured having his leg broken by the family patriarch, staring at the confetti-like contract remnants that had shackled me for years. Then meeting Alex's smoldering gaze, tears flooded my vision. I'd been stumbling through darkness for so long, weathered, fractured beyond recognition. He was the sudden shaft of light piercing through, bathing me in brash, unapologetic warmth that demanded nothing in return. When Alex knelt in the snow-capped mountains a year later with a ring, I said yes through trembling lips. At our wedding altar, his eyes glistened as he vowed, "Evelyn, I finally get to marry you. The world means nothing without you." In that moment, I believed the universe had finally balanced its scales. The jade bracelet Alex considered his lucky charm lay forgotten on the nightstand. I grabbed it, heading to his office where Kevin greeted me with familiar warmth. "Mr. Taylor's prepping for a magazine feature," the earnest assistant explained, gesturing toward the studio, following Kevin through corridors buzzing with covert stares. My palms grew damp. Even after 4 years away from the spotlight, being watched still constricted my breathing. The studio lights revealed Alex lounging in a director's chair, shirt collar undone as a willowy woman in white leaned over him. Her delicate fingers adjusted his jawline while his gaze tracked her movements with predatory focus, the same look that once made investors surrender term sheets. When she snapped her makeup kit shut with icy precision, I caught the faintest tremor in those elegant hands. Alex chuckled low in his throat as she strode past us, her frosty move hanging in the air. "Ms. Clark," Kevin interjected smoothly. "This is Mrs. Taylor." The makeup artist's porcelain features tightened imperceptibly before she disappeared in a swirl of chiffon. Alex's reflection in the vanity mirror caught my eye, his smirk fading as our gazes locked through the glass, two fractured souls still learning how to stand whole. Vicky glanced up at me and uttered a breezy "oh." My apologies before pivoting away with practiced efficiency. Kevin's voice carried a note of contrition. "Don't take it personally. Vicky's an internationally acclaimed makeup artist. She's like this with everyone. Her Ice Queen act comes with the territory." "Is she contracted staff or temporary help?" I inquired. "Started as freelance. But Alex offered her a golden handcuffs deal after several A-listers demanded her specifically. Alex approached with hands in pockets, his smile widening when he noticed me. "You never come to the studio. Miss me already?" I handed him the jade bracelet. "Thought you might need this. My considerate wife." He pocketed the jewelry without wearing it. My eyes caught the crimson cord peeking from his cuff. Its haphazard knot suggesting recent application. The crew kept nagging about me fidgeting during touch-ups. He followed my gaze, rotating his wrist. "Turns out this works better than a toddler's security blanket. Why not switch back?" He tilted his head, the red thread catching studio lights. "Maybe I like the change. It's stimulating." The unspoken she hung between us. Only one professional would dare restrain the CEO. Waiting in the executive suite. I'd barely closed my eyes when the door burst open. Vicky froze mid-stride, her designer shopping bag brushing against a chair leg. "My mistake," she said without inflection, though her lifted chin conveyed anything but remorse. "Do assistants typically barge into the CEO's office unannounced?" Her porcelain features tightened. "Alex left property in my workspace. I'm simply returning it." The Hermes Birkin met mahogany with deliberate force before she swept out. White chiffon skirt swirling like scorn incarnate. Alex found me examining the snow-white handbag. "Surprise for me?" I dangled the trophy. He smoothly retrieved it. "You hate white. Then who's the lucky recipient?" "Client gift Kevin botched delivering. Guess I'll handle it myself." His laugh sounded tinny as he repackaged the bag. "We'll get you something better." I watched him tuck away the contraband. "Why not this one?" His fingers lingered on the box. "Wouldn't suit you." The red thread glowed against his wrist like fresh arterial spray. He smirked lightly. "Next time." "White doesn't suit you." I froze. During my acting days, my agency had crafted this persona contrast pure white outfits off-screen maintaining virginal innocence, while my characters wore revealing bikinis on-screen. Netizens once voted me least suitable celebrity to wear white. After breaking free from contracts, I'd sworn off white entirely. Though my personal choice was one thing, hearing Alex say this still stunned me. He immediately realized his misstep, rushing over to embrace me with apologetic murmurs. "Honey, I didn't mean it like that. I've always thought you look most beautiful in white. No one compares. I only said it because you mentioned disliking it yourself." I remained silent. His voice tightened with panic. "Darling, don't be angry. We promised never to fight over accidental remarks." After several tense seconds, I slowly smiled. "Of course." He searched my eyes, exhaling in relief when finding no resentment, shaking his head with self-deprecating laughter. He patted his own cheek. "For years married, yet I still get this nervous when you're upset. Just like back in college." Leaving the office, I called Sophia. "Well, meet at our usual spot. 3 o'clock. I spent an hour watching summer crowds in the corner park before moving. Through cave windows, I spotted Sophia's androgynous silhouette, cropped hair, oversized sunglasses swallowing half her face as she sipped iced coffee with effortless cool. The former paparazzo turned investigative agency owner had once hounded me relentlessly during my scandal years. Our dynamic shifted when I rescued her from drowning during one ill-fated stakeout. The night Alex commented on my small hands, I'd immediately contacted her. Ready for ugly truths? Whatever they may be? Sophia removed her sunglasses, revealing sharp phoenix eyes. Her grave tone mirrored our conversation 4 years prior. "Ready to marry that man? Whatever the consequences?" "Yes." My answer remained unchanged. She slid a dossier across the table. For 1 quiet hour, I studied its contents while Sophia typed undisturbed, granting me privacy. Her investigation proved thorough photo timelines chronicling my husband's elaborate courtship of Vicky Clark, the Ice Queen makeup artist. They'd met during company events where Alex, as CEO, noticed her aloof demeanor amidst sycophantic crowds. He'd lured her with tenfold industry rates, installing her in the largest office adjacent to his. Daily deliveries of flowers and gifts she persistently redirected to janitorial staff. Though contracted as company makeup artist, Vicky operated by whims, refusing artists she disliked, eventually only accepting Alex as her canvas. On her birthday, surveillance photos showed them holding hands beneath drone-formed rose constellations. Fairy tale prince and princess frozen in pixelated romance. The hospital photo ripped from social media showed worse Alex cradling 4 tubing to warm medication flowing into Vicky's porcelain hand. Some envious caption lingered at the corner, "This man clearly adores his wife." My coffee turned ice cold as I reached the final page. Suddenly, I let out a soft chuckle. Sophia looked up from her coffee, brows furrowing as she studied me. "Are you okay?" I turned to gaze at the sun-baked street outside. This summer seemed endless even with autumn's arrival. The sunlight still glared white-hot through the cafe windows. What could possibly be wrong? I wiped away a traitorous tear. I just lost the bet. That's all. When I'd married Alex years ago, everyone thought I'd struck gold. Everyone except Sophia. "That man isn't worthy of you," she'd insisted, her entertainment industry instincts sharp as ever. "You're a gifted actress trapped by that ridiculous bombshell image. Now that you're free from that contract, you should be building your career, not playing housewife." What if he changes? Careers don't betray people. Back then, drowning in Alex's overwhelming devotion, I'd laughed it off. I believe in him. I'm willing to gamble on this. The memory of my own conviction made my throat tighten. "You have 2 options now." Sophia's voice snapped me back to the present. Her business empire had quadrupled in recent years, the startup funds I'd provided multiplying beyond recognition. First, accept the situation. Keep enjoying the lifestyle and social status Alex provides, even if your marriage has spoiled. Second, she paused, leaning forward until our reflections merged in the polished table. "Evelyn, divorce him. Stop treating marriage like some sacred vow. People grow apart, it's normal." My fingers traced the gilded rim of my coffee cup, its intricate filigree chipped in places. "You need to decide quickly," Sophia pressed. "If you still love him, we pretend this never happened. But if you choose divorce, I'll start laying groundwork to secure your interests." The drive home passed in a blur. I collapsed onto our bed fully dressed, the delayed shock finally seeping into my bones like slow poison. How had my fairy tale marriage unraveled so completely in a month? The man in those investigation reports felt like a stranger. More confusing still, Alex's affection had always burned so intensely genuine. I'd asked Sophia to dig through his affairs not to confirm suspicions, but to disprove them. Could any man fake devotion so flawlessly? Alex returned after dark, triumphantly waving a crocodile Birkin as he burst into our bedroom. "This costs triple that white bag you wanted." "Who needs second-hand goods? Only the best for my girl." His smile crinkled those familiar hazel eyes, voice dripping with the same tenderness I'd basked in for years. Sudden desperation overwhelmed me. We'd known each other since high school. He'd liquidated his assets to rescue me from bankruptcy 4 years ago. Couldn't we salvage this? "Alex, I need to." His phone buzzed. "Hold that thought, sweetheart." He was already striding out, phone pressed to his ear. I followed silently, pausing at the storage room window adjacent to his study. Kevin's voice carried through the glass. "You're really going through with this?" "MS. Clark's grandmother lives 3 hours away. And the storm tomorrow." Alex's chuckle froze my blood. "Even better if I get stranded. That ice queen needs thawing. Mrs. Taylor mustn't know about this. Keep your people in check at the company. If anyone dares breathe a word to her, there'll be hell to pay." "Mr. Taylor, I don't understand. If you love your wife so much, why are you so invested in mess?" Clark? After a heavy pause, Alex's voice rumbled through the dimness. They're separate matters. As a man, I'll always prefer women of pure virtue. Evelyn claimed she stayed chaste during those years abroad. But certain things can't be proven. While I adore her, there's always that lingering regret. I turned and exited the storage room, not returning to our bedroom but stepping onto the balcony instead. The scorching daytime heat had given way to autumn's first chill. Closing my eyes, I let the seasonal shift wash over me. Some changes can't be stopped. The climate, people's hearts. Darling, it's getting cold. Don't catch a chill. Alex's tender voice materialized behind me. I opened my phone and deliberately texted Sophia in front of him, Phase 2. Alex tilted his head with amused curiosity. What's that about? Turning to meet his gaze, I smiled mysteriously. You'll find out soon enough. When we turned off the lights later, Alex suddenly pinned me down, his breath scorching my ear. Evelyn, I've been holding back. Can we finally? I'd been refusing intimacy since starting herbal treatments a week ago. Turning my face from his kiss, I murmured. The doctor said. He tore the covers aside with frantic urgency, lips trailing downward. Wait, a wave of nausea hit. I gagged violently, scrambling to the bathroom. You okay? Alex followed, concern etching his features. Medicine side effects. I lied, wiping my mouth. His brow furrowed. You need to see a doctor tomorrow. I actually scheduled a checkup, I said through the bathroom mirror. Alex, could you come with me? He hesitated exactly 1 second before smiling apologetically. Critical investor meeting in the neighboring city. Kevin will take you, and I'll rush over afterward. Okay, darling? When I woke next morning, Alex had already left. His note on the table read, "Call Kevin for your appointment. Back by tomorrow." I shredded it coldly before dialing Sophia. He's gone. That bastard, came her hissed reply. Leave the rest to me. I never contacted Kevin. Yet after my leisurely morning routine, long bath, skin care, brunch, gardening, I found the assistant standing rigidly in the hallway when I finally emerged. His tailored suit showed faint creases from prolonged waiting. Turning at my approach, Kevin inclined his head with practiced professionalism. Mrs. Taylor. His unwavering gaze held mine. The car's ready whenever you are. Mrs. Wilson. The car is downstairs. I froze. Kevin. When did you get here? Have you been waiting long? He smiled. Not too long. True to his reputation as an executive assistant, Kevin moved with quiet efficiency throughout the hospital visit. Other than medical consultations requiring my presence, he handled every detail seamlessly. I harbored no personal resentment. He was Alex's right hand, loyal to his employer. Just a man doing his job. When fat raindrops began assaulting the pavement, I suddenly clutched my head. I'm dizzy, can't stand, my knees buckled dramatically. For the first time, panic flickered across Kevin's usually composed face. Rain-trapped bystanders watched as nurses wheeled my motionless form through the ER on a gurney, eyes shut tight against the fluorescent lights. Sophia arrived amidst thunderclaps, finding me propped in bed studying photos she'd forwarded earlier. The images showed Alex playing devoted partner to Vicky all day, driving 3 hours to her hometown, tenderly assisting her grandmother at medical appointments, fetching supplies like an overeager son-in-law during Lunar New Year. Vicky maintained regal indifference, though her white Birkin never left her grip. Bought lingerie during their shopping trip. Sophia smirked. It's in her bag now. I stared at Alex's face in the photographs. His eyes sparkled with that familiar teenage determination I remembered from high school hallways. My husband won't be coming home tonight, I murmured. Sophia peeled a mandarin orange. Studying me. He booked the penthouse suite. Roses. Red wine, they're in for quite the romantic evening. A knock interrupted us. Kevin entered carrying a pot of blooming white orchids. The delicate flowers brought sudden vitality to the sterile room. Kevin, I asked abruptly, how long have you worked for Alex? 4 years. He carefully wiped condensation from the ceramic planter. After holding his gaze several beats, I looked away. You may leave now. My friend's here. He paused mid-motion. Of course. Please call if you need anything. As Kevin's footsteps faded, Sophia chuckled. Who brings potted plants during a hurricane? Where'd he even find orchids? I smiled faintly. Strange indeed. Sophia hesitated. Evelyn, why this hospital charade? Once we get solid evidence of Alex's affair, negotiating the divorce settlement should be straightforward. Rain lashed the windows as darkness swallowed the city. I'm preparing for my comeback. Comeback? When a scandalous actress returns to Hollywood, they mock her. But when a heartbroken wife rebuilds her life through acting? I traced the orchid's petals. That's an inspirational story. I'll divorce Alex while crafting a new public persona, the resilient survivor reclaiming her narrative. The white blooms trembled as thunder shook the building. Somewhere across town, penthouse curtains would be drawing closed. If we're ending this marriage, it better be worth the drama. Sophia's almond-shaped eyes sparkled as she leaned forward. So you staged that dramatic public collapse at the hospital today? Brilliant contrast to Alex's cheating scandal. I thought he'd turned you into some pampered housewife these past few years. Clearly I underestimated you. I sighed heavily. You know better than anyone what I've endured. Suffering should never be wasted. Perfect. Sophia clapped her hands. Tomorrow I'll double down on painting you as the tragic abandoned wife. We'll make this story trend. The door slammed open. Alex stood dripping in the doorway, rainwater pooling around his Italian loafers. Evelyn? Are you hurt? His storm cloud gaze swept over me, lingering when he found no visible injuries. The tension in his shoulders eased slightly. I stared at his disheveled appearance, mud-streaked Armani suit, fresh scratches marring his jawline. What happened to you? He cupped my face, fingers trembling against my skin. Lost control on the freeway exit. When you didn't answer my calls, Kevin wasn't picking up either. His thumb brushed my cheekbone. The doctors confirmed it's nothing serious? No complications from. Why aren't you at your important meeting? I interrupted. His eyes darted toward Sophia before softening. Nothing matters more than your health. Darling. I'll reschedule everything. As he retreated to change, Sophia flashed her phone screen. My team says Vicky barely had 10 minutes with him at the St. Regis before he bolted. Seems someone panicked when his calls went straight to voicemail. Thunder rattled the windows, lightning bleaching the room sterile white. I closed my eyes against the glare. Evelyn, Sophia's voice uncharacteristically gentle. Maybe you should reconsider. He clearly. Release the stories tomorrow. The admission hung between us as another thunderclap shook the building. You're certain? His guilt makes him vulnerable now. My fingers tightened around the hospital sheets. Better to sever ties while he still cares enough to negotiate favorably. By dawn, 2 headlines dominated Twitter trends. Tech heir Alexander Taylor's midnight hotel meeting with makeup artist Victoria Clark, featuring time-stamped photos of their St. Regis encounter. Former actress Evelyn Wilson hospitalized amid marriage crisis, with tearful ER shots contrasting sharply with the hotel surveillance images. Netizens quickly connected the timelines. Knew their marriage was a PR stunt. Surprised it lasted 3 years. That homewrecker Clark looks like dollar store Evelyn. Midlife crisis much? The digital storm raged, exactly as planned. The more glamorous Evelyn's marriage appeared, the more humiliating this betrayal became. These two aren't even A-list celebrities. Why is this trending on my feed? Is the world really that obsessed with men? Shouldn't we be condemning the cheating husband instead? What's the point of shaming Evelyn? She's been dutifully washing her delicates by hand. Finally landed this big fish. You think she'll divorce him? I'll eat my hat if she does. Alex rushed back from the office to find me packing with swollen eyes. He grabbed my suitcase. Face tense. Evelyn. I've been calling nonstop. What's this about? I kept my gaze lowered. Voice trembling. What do you think? Should I pretend nothing happened after my husband's affair? Let's get divorced. Alex. We struggled over the luggage until I suddenly snapped, slapping him hard across the face. The sharp crack froze the room. He sucked air through his teeth, visibly restraining himself. After 2 measured breaths, he asked quietly, "Feel better? Can we talk now?" I stared mutely at the red handprint blooming on his cheek. Those photos were tabloid fabrications. Vicky's grandmother needed emergency hospitalization. I happened to be meeting investors nearby and helped secure a bed. She came to my hotel room to thank me. We weren't even there 2 minutes. I swear on my life. Evelyn. If I'd betrayed you, may I die wretched. I rushed to cover his mouth. Don't say that. Tears spilled as his familiar scent overwhelmed me, cedarwood and the faintest hint of bergamot. Alex looked equal parts devastated and shocked. He'd never seen me this vulnerable. Not during the darkest cyberbullying days. Not when my startup nearly collapsed. I'd learned to self-soothe long before our reunion. Evelyn, his voice broke in that particular way that still made my chest constrict. I'm so sorry. You're not lying? Never. What if you do someday? His eyes glistened with emotion. I'll publicly beg your forgiveness. Your word will be law. The Taylor family soon released an official statement denying the affair, identifying Vicky as their lead makeup artist. Legal action was promised against defamatory media outlets. We resumed our routine, him arriving punctually each night, showering me with lavish gifts. I accepted each offering with a soft thank you. Darling. Online commentary raged, corporate makeup artist my ass. Office affairs are the juiciest. Who actually thought Evelyn would divorce? She's not letting that cash cow go. Anyone notice how icy Vicky acts around Mr. Taylor? Total queen energy. Word from their company, Alex simps over her with drone light shows and designer bags. But she won't give him the time of day. TLDR, Evelyn simps for Alex. Alex simps for Vicky. The makeup artist's the real victim here. Caught in these two lunatics' drama. Within days, a video surfaced online. At a private gathering among friends, someone curiously asked Vicky Clark, "Mr. Taylor is handsome and wealthy. Since he's been showering you with attention, haven't you felt even slightly tempted?" Vicky sipped her red wine with aristocratic poise before calmly responding. His tactics might work on certain women, but that only proves those women lack self-respect. As for me, I'm not that cheap. The comments section exploded with analysis. The certain women she's talking about must be Evelyn Wilson. That's exactly how Mr. Taylor pursued her back then. Self-respect? Her? Once you take off your clothes, what dignity is left? Not entirely fair. Evelyn did issue statements about those controversial scenes being filmed with body doubles without her knowledge. Ha! Who'd believe that? You're adorably naive. That evening when Alex Taylor returned home, I unusually didn't greet him with a smile. Make Vicky apologize to me. I thrust my phone at him. Deadly serious. Alex frowned while watching the viral clip. MS. Clark's remarks weren't targeting anyone specifically. These rumors are all baseless speculation from netizens. Demanding an apology seems unreasonable. I stared him down. Aren't you her boss? Didn't you help her grandmother? Now that your wife is upset because of her words, can't I even ask for an apology? After tense silence, Alex gritted his teeth. Fine. I encountered Vicky again in Alex's corporate office. She sat rigidly on the sofa in a white cheaphouse-style dress, crimson lips pressed tight. When I entered, she ignored me. Her shimmering gaze fixed on Alex behind me, eyes slightly red-rimmed with suppressed defiance. I felt Alex's arm stiffen around my shoulders. Clearing his throat, Alex announced, "Ms. Clark, thank you for agreeing to this. With all the online nonsense, my wife naturally feels troubled. We appreciate your understanding." Vicky's sneer curved bitterly. Of course. When the boss commands, lowly employees comply. Alex shifted uncomfortably as she turned to me with mock courtesy. "Mrs. Taylor, let me make this clear." "Wait," I interrupted, leisurely settling into the executive chair behind the massive desk. After sipping freshly brewed tea, I waved permission. "Proceed." Her face paled. Drawing a deep breath, Vicky declared, "Mrs. Taylor, all online rumors are fabricated by trash media. My relationship with Mr. Taylor is strictly professional. My careless remarks weren't directed at you. If misunderstandings occurred, I, Vicky Clark, apologize." She whirled toward Alex. "Satisfied, CEO Taylor?" "Perfect." I smiled. Alex echoed, "Perfect." Vicky lifted her chin. "Then this insignificant employee won't disturb the power couple further." As she turned to leave, I added, "Ms. Clark, that handbag in your press photos resembles the one Alex mentioned gifting to a client last month." Before she could respond, Alex suddenly chuckled. "No way. That bag is the only one in the entire city. And it's still with Kevin waiting to be gifted. You must be mistaken." I tilted my head. If it hadn't been delivered after 2 attempts, why bother? Just give it to me instead. I quite like it. Alex paused briefly before smiling. "If you like it, I'll have Kevin deliver it tomorrow." Beside us, Vicky bit her lower lip hard, her face twisting with displeasure. When leaving the office, I stopped by the restroom. Vicky suddenly appeared. "You did that on purpose today, didn't you?" Her cold reflection stared at me through the mirror. I pulled a paper towel, slowly drying my hands. "Yes." She froze, clearly unprepared for my blunt admission. Then her expression shifted to bitter amusement. "How pathetic, knowing exactly what your husband's been up with other women, yet choosing to play dumb. Coming here today just to flaunt your status as Mrs. Taylor? Pathetic." I turned to face her directly. "Yet you still bowed to Mrs. Taylor today, didn't you?" Her chin lifted arrogantly. "Only because I haven't agreed to his advances." Vicky, don't stoop to petty games of playing the other woman. Honestly, Mrs. Taylor, you should be thanking me." I laughed. "So that night at the hotel, he rushed home because you rejected him?" Vicky's face stiffened. "Obviously. If I'd wanted him, do you really think you'd still be Mrs. Taylor? Empty threats are easy." She leaned closer. "His birthday is next week. Want to bet you won't even see him that day?" "Not a chance." The cafe's soothing melody floated through the air as I slid the handbag across the table to Sophia. "Alex brought this home last night," grinning like a kid while saying, "See how well I listen to my wife?" I gave him a thumbs up. Sophia lifted the bag, eyebrows raised. "You're seriously giving this to me?" I sipped my latte. "If you don't mind." "Mind? This beats vintage store finds any day." She studied me. "But Soph, aren't you contradicting yourself? First you say Alex would never agree to divorce. Then you act like he's seconds from running off with some mistress." I traced the rim of my cup. "It's not me, it's men who contradict themselves. Some think they can split love and lust cleanly. They marry for stability, then get bored. They want both the comforting spouse and the thrilling affair, convinced they can juggle it all. But life doesn't work that way. You're not actually encouraging his cheating, are you? Just accelerating the inevitable. The end result depends on his choices. Sophia's gaze softened. Does it hurt? I watched golden leaves carpet the sidewalk outside. Summer had truly ended. Pain doesn't change outcomes, it just clouds judgment. I observe it without diving in. Detach. Survive. Learn that from last time? The memory of sleepless nights swallowed by raw grief surfaced briefly. Yes. From when I let emotions devour me whole. Now. I can finally face things head on. Sophia's smile turned bright and genuine. All right. I hope this Vicky won't disappoint. I'm genuinely curious to see what tricks she'll pull. Vicky didn't let us down. On Alex's birthday, I barged into his office with friends under the guise of a surprise party. Clutching a candlelit birthday cake. What we witnessed left us all frozen in shock. A mermaid sprawled across the massive mahogany desk. Her iridescent tail fanned across the surface. Completely nude save for strategically placed leaves. Her body painted in swirling patterns that doubled as serving platters for delicate sushi arrangements. Alex sat frozen behind the desk. A piece of sashimi suspended between his chopsticks as our eyes locked. The influencer friend instinctively raised her phone higher, capturing every second of the live stream. When Vicky's shrill scream pierced the air, Alex dropped his chopsticks and lunged toward me. Evelyn. It's not what you think. The cake left my hands in a perfect arc. Red velvet frosting exploded across his face like abstract art, complementing the trembling mermaid masterpiece on his desk. I turned on my heel and strode out, leaving chaos blooming in my wake. I fell into a deep, dreamless sleep. Or rather, dreamed of sleeping. Summer sunlight filtered through high school classroom windows. Cicadas screaming in the heat. A teenage boy danced fingertips across my closed eyelids. Alex. You're disturbing me. I grumbled, squinting up at him. The boy grinned. All crooked charm. That's slander. Class president. I didn't say a word. You're disturbing my eyelids. My ponytail whipped his cheek as I turned away. He hissed dramatically, rubbing the spot. But his laughter followed me. The voice that woke me now held none of that warmth, tight with anxiety. Painfully cautious. Evelyn, Victoria's award-winning piece was this mermaid concept. She just wanted to recreate it since I'd mentioned regretting never seeing the original. I opened my eyes. The boy from my dreams sat blurred at my bedside. His crisp suit and perfect posture alien in the dim room. Reality snapped into focus as my palm connected with his cheek. The slap echoed dully. He didn't flinch. Strands of hair falling across eyes that once sparkled with mischief. Alex. I whispered, each word deliberate. Don't insult me, don't insult who we were, with these lies. This outburst wasn't part of my plan. But that dream had resurrected memories like unearthed time capsules. Fragile and sharp-edged. He remained motionless. Nothing happened. I swear. Calm settled over me like armor, perfected during darker years. When life fractures, stillness becomes survival. Nothing happened? My voice smoothed to polished steel. Or nothing had time to happen. Remember your promise, Alex? The next lie. And he jerked his head up, dark eyes piercing through his disheveled hair as he interrupted me. Evelyn. Remember our agreement? We said we'd have children 3 years into our marriage. It's time now. Let's have a daughter who looks just like you. Please? His words tumbled out urgently, the last syllables trembling. After all these years, he knew my temperament well. The calmer I appeared, the more resolute my decisions. I met his gaze steadily before letting out a low chuckle. A daughter like me? But didn't you think I was tainted? Alexander Taylor's eyes widened in shock and panic, his face bleaching pale in the dim light. He remained frozen, clearly uncertain about how much I knew. My voice remained flat, devoid of anger. Alex. I just don't understand. If you never believed me, why marry me? Realizing you've shared my bed all these years while holding such contempt, it makes our entire marriage feel like a joke. He reached out desperately, fingers brushing air when I didn't flinch. His hand dropped limply. Evelyn. That's not what I meant. I've never, God. It was just some stupid fucking obsession. I've only loved you since high school. Never stopped. Please. Just consider this my idiotic rambling. The man before me, red-eyed, brow furrowed, stripped of his usual composure, looked like my husband yet completely alien. I clicked my tongue softly. The problem is, now I'm the one who finds you repulsive. His entire body flinched, hands trembling against the bedspread. I closed my eyes. Get out, Alex. Don't show your face until you've fulfilled your promises. The brief live stream clip went viral within hours. Internet comments flooded in. Rich people really play differently. Who needs birthday cake when you can have a human sushi platter at the office? Since when does Evelyn Wilson throw desserts at her sugar daddy? Thought she was the ultimate clinger. Vicky Clark doing this? There's gotta be more to the story. Never judge too fast. STFU with your wait for facts crap. The man himself admitted it. When Alexander's public apology dropped, I take full responsibility for succumbing to temptation and hurting my family, the internet exploded. He folded faster than a lawn chair. What dirt does she have on him? Wait. Is he implying Vicky seduced him? That ice queen? Always knew her late-night makeup sessions sounded fishy. Pouring one out for my past self who stained Vicky. Time to atone by buying full-price Starbucks. Gotta hand it to MS Clark, that move would make any man crumble. Still. Poor Evelyn. Poor my ass. She'll probably forgive him by sunrise. That woman's spine is made of jelly. Bet my left nut she won't divorce. If she does, I'll eat my own shit standing on my head. I chuckled darkly, upvoting the fecal wager. My demands to Alexander had been simple. First, the public confession. Society pities victims. And I needed that capital, both for my next moves and to tear away Vicky's pristine facade. Second, divorce papers. When I uttered those two words, Alex's eyes reddened. The same crimson hue as in the portrait hanging in our living room. Evelyn. I don't believe we've reached the point of divorce. I understand your anger. But we can't make irreparable mistakes in the heat of the moment. This will pass. We'll return to how we were before. He forced out these words with difficulty, regained composure, and left home, apparently unwilling to hear another syllable about divorce. From that day, he never returned. Yet daily, he bombarded my phone with photographs, Vicky's termination notice, desolate hotel lobbies at midnight, autumn leaves beneath our old maple tree at dawn, hollowed-out corporate offices, our high school classroom frozen in time. I viewed them in silence before deleting each one, responding only with, "When are we finalizing the divorce?" A week later, as online outrage peaked, I compiled the vilest comments into a dossier: cold-faced laundry slave, spineless doormat, women's tragedy embodied, and send it to him with a message: how much longer must I endure this hellscape you crafted? 30 minutes later, 3 words appeared: I'm sorry. We divorced on a crisp autumn morning. When we met again 2 weeks later, the change in him startled me. Though meticulously groomed in tailored suits, his face had hollowed, those perpetually smiling eyes now dull and heavy-lidded. Asset division proved simple: I took all properties and liquid assets. He kept the company. Every tragedy in my life traced back to that corporation. I wanted no part of it. As we signed, he muttered bitterly, "I acquired that company for you. Now that you've abandoned it." I smiled faintly. "Keep chasing your unfinished obsessions. Otherwise, you'll never find peace." He abruptly turned away, shoulders heaving. After several shaky breaths, he rasped, "I agreed to divorce to protect you from online attacks. Let's end this chapter cleanly." But, His gaze burned into me. When this storm passes, I'll court you properly again, like our reunion years ago. This time, we'll stay far from the spotlight. Quiet lives. No disturbances. I stared impassively before walking away without another word. News of our divorce exploded online after Sophia's strategic leak. Initial disbelief and mockery turned to shock when courthouse photos surfaced. Evelyn actually grew a backbone. Poor thing, abandoned her career for marriage. Now left with nothing. Remember that old interview? She entered entertainment to pay her brother's medical bills when he was comatose. Nobody believed her back then. Her villainous roles were iconic though. Now that she's free, maybe she'll act again? Queen Evelyn come back when? Where's that idiot who promised to eat shit upside down? Time to pay up. Online sentiment shifted with surreal speed. Sophia shrugged it off. They don't care about truth, just projecting their own frustrations. Today's outrage becomes tomorrow's forgotten meme. But temporary attention? That's all we need. The temporary attention materialized as an actual film offer in my inbox. When I finished reading the script, tears welled up in my eyes. Though it was merely a supporting female role, this marked the first time in my career I could portray a woman without relying on overt sexuality. Vicky unexpectedly came to find me. She intercepted me in the hotel lobby, her signature white dress and waist-length hair attempting to maintain the icy elegance she was known for. Yet the downward twitch of her lips betrayed bitter resentment. "You're despicable," she spat. "How could you sabotage another woman like this?" I kept avoiding conflict. "Yet you deliberately provoked me into that trap. Bringing those people to catch us in the act, all to humiliate me? For revenge?" Her laugh turned shrill. "But your plan failed, didn't it? I wasn't the slut you imagined. No scandalous scene for your cameras. Maybe the whole world thinks I'm throwing myself at your husband. But for me, it's always been about artistic expression, the marriage of aesthetics and human form." I clicked my tongue. "Are you done?" She froze mid-tirade. "Listen to yourself," I said, irritation sharpening my tone. "You all recite the same hypocritical lines. Do you think everyone's an idiot? Or are you the fool here? Provoking you into a trap?" I stepped closer. "Wasn't it you who texted me those clues about being in his office that afternoon? Vicky, you wanted me to confront Alex more than anyone. Didn't you? Can't keep playing the unattainable ice queen forever, must be exhausting maintaining that act. When the hotel scheme failed, you got desperate. Never imagined I'd storm in with witnesses. Did you?" My laughter held no warmth. "You miscalculated. Assumed I'd stay meek and silent. But poor choices have consequences. Losing your job? The cyberbullying? You brought this on yourself." Vicky's face drained of color, lips trembling before she exploded. "And what about you? Acting so noble now. You're divorced. Why block him from seeing me? Why did he blacklist my number? What lies have you fed him?" Her voice cracked. "My career's ruined. My reputation. He owes me." Realization dawned. "You're in love with him." Tears spilled over her mascaraed lashes. What woman wouldn't fall for that treatment? Don't pretend you're immune. Who are you to judge? Then why make him chase you for months? She lifted her chin. "Men don't value what comes easily. But he loved me, all those grand gestures proved it. Evelyn, you have no right." Her words died as she stared past me, eyes lighting up. I turned. Alex leaned against the doorframe, his tall frame radiating stormy tension. Vicky hastily wiped her cheeks, moving toward him with renewed hope. "Alex, you should hear this. I was wrong to push you away before. If you'll just let me make amends." He sidestepped her without glancing over. His gaze locked on me. Vicky stiffened, betrayal twisting her features. "So you planned the divorce from the start?" Alex's voice dropped, bitterness lacing the words. I remained silent. That's why you vanished afterward. Ignored my calls. His bitter chuckle scraped raw. When did you decide? That night at the hotel? Dark amusement curved his lips. You played the game well, Evelyn. Why the charade if you meant to leave? Would you have agreed if I asked earlier? He considered. Smirk fading. No. But why end it? I never betrayed you. Were our years together so disposable? My eyes shifted to Vicky hovering near the doorway. Confusion and desperation warring on her face. But you love her. Alex snorted. Evelyn. You know perfectly well that from the very beginning. I've only ever loved you. Those others? They were just temporary distractions, like getting a massage, playing a video game, or killing time. They meant nothing. Vicky trembled violently before suddenly covering her ears and fleeing the hall with a scream. Alex continued calmly as if nothing happened. Evelyn. You're the most important person in my life. I laughed bitterly. Don't lie to yourself. The moment you considered cheating, you accepted the possibility of getting caught. Yet you still prioritized your desires over me. All this talk about longing and distractions is just excuses. You're just too cowardly to admit you surrendered to your impulses. Alex. Don't ever come near me again. We're done. From now on, you live your life. And I'll live mine. Even the thought of you sitting behind that desk with chopsticks makes me physically ill. The air thickened as Alex stared with icy intensity. This changes nothing. Our connection runs deeper than either of us can sever. We'll always find our way back. He gave me one last lingering look before striding out with Kevin close behind. Sophia later expressed concern. Evelyn. You don't think Alex would. He's too proud for petty revenge. I shook my head. Remember how he refused to reconcile with his family for years after they disinherited him over our marriage? People change. Sophia sighed. Yes. I agreed quietly. That's why we adapt before things break beyond repair. News soon spread about Alex's crumbling empire, artists terminating contracts, hostile takeovers. I focused entirely on preparing for my acting role until Sophia forwarded a tabloid scoop, a toy magnate's wife publicly assaulting his mistress, none other than Vicky. The woman Alex once called pure now dragged through mud. During filming's third day, the director introduced investors. My blood turned to ice seeing Alex lounging casually beside stiff-backed Kevin. Evelyn. He smiled as our eyes met. Fate keeps bringing us together. I later learned Alex had injected massive funds to seize control of the production. How? I demanded during my frantic call to Sophia. He's reclaiming his birthright. She revealed. After kneeling before his parents all night. His mother transferred her shares. Now he's battling his wheelchair-bound half-brother for corporate control. Alex became my shadow on set. Appearing daily with military precision. Kevin trailed him everywhere. Tablet in hand. Executing commands with quiet efficiency. The Taylor family heir watched me with the calculated patience of a predator. His presence looming larger than any camera lens. While I was filming, he sat quietly nearby, watching with patience. During my breaks, an endless stream of food and gifts flooded into my dressing room. He seemed determined to recreate our past. Starting anew, the director approached me anxiously. Evelyn. I don't know what's happening between you two, but this is the biggest production I've had in 30 years. For the sake of my mentorship, please don't provoke him. I'm begging you. Alexander Taylor had become the emperor of the set. Everyone tiptoed around him. He wandered freely into my dressing room and private lounge. Often I'd wake from afternoon naps to find him silently observing me. When our eyes met, he'd smile tenderly. Evelyn. This reminds me of high school, how you loved napping at your desk while I watched. Just like now. He rewrote my role to overshadow the female lead. The actress didn't complain, he'd promised to make her his next star. On good days, he'd dramatically hand out the latest cell phones to everyone on the crew. who'd then thank me like I'd granted the favor. My estranged parents appeared on set. Summoned by him. They cooed Evie dear, urging reconciliation. I maintained glacial silence through all his gestures. Undeterred, Alex murmured, "You're a natural actress. What a waste all these years. When I secure my position, I'll give you every resource to become Hollywood's envy. We'll fix this." He occasionally disappeared for video conferences, preparing his corporate takeover. Today was such a day. Post-makeup. I studied Kevin Harris quietly working in the corner. "Mr. Harris." He looked up, fingers pausing on his laptop. "Yes? How long have you been my fan?" The dressing room air thickened. After an eternity, he answered. 8 years. Early in my career, I'd actively engaged with fans. Once. Hospitalized. Someone asked in our group chat what gift would mean most right now. After serious consideration, I'd replied, a potted magnolia. That hospital stay revealed 2 things, the magnolia plant. And Kevin's secret. "You graduated from Stanford." I pressed. "Why serve as Alex's assistant all these years?" His gaze dropped. "To be near you." "Then why help him cheat? Is this your loyalty?" His voice softened. "I realized he didn't deserve you. So you orchestrated his affair? To free you." His eyes met mine. Steady. "For someone better." I chuckled. "A better man? Don't tell me you're referring to yourself?" Kevin kept his head lowered. Frozen in place. Suddenly, he looked up. His face flushed crimson, even the whites of his eyes turning bloodshot as he stammered. "And no. But if you give me a chance, I'd give everything." I stared at him coldly. "Kevin, how are you any different from Alex?" His body jerked as if turned to stone. After a long moment, his knees slowly buckled until he knelt before me. Voice trembling. "Evelyn, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." I tilted my chin downward, frost coating my words. "I want Alex stripped of his inheritance." Understood? Understood. 2 months later at the board meeting, Alex's eyes widened in disbelief when I entered behind his eldest brother. When I produced stacks of profit-sharing agreements he'd signed with minor shareholders, his gaze turned feral, the violent red of fresh bloodstains. Truthfully, the contracts alone weren't enough to destroy him. But my presence beside his brother extinguished his final shred of defiance. He watched me throughout the proceedings like a broken marionette, despair bleeding from every hollow stare. This time, he finally understood. We were over. Forever. That night, I boarded a flight to Northwest China. The director had recommended his mentor's passion project, a film celebrating rural teachers, requiring full immersion in village life. No glamour. No box office ambitions. Pure artistic conviction. When first approached, I'd made only one demand: absolute secrecy. 2 months into learning local dialects with children, Sophia forwarded an email from Alex. I'd blocked all his accounts years ago. "Evelyn," he wrote, "when I first saw Vicky, all I remembered was you at that gala. These years, I've cursed myself endlessly. Why didn't I find you sooner? Spare you the suffering? Believe me, I've tried to atone for what I did to you through every breath I take." Sophia added that after losing the power struggle, Alex had been exiled to his family's Chilean subsidiary. A quick map check confirmed it. Chile sat diametrically opposite my current coordinates. We now occupied Earth's farthest possible points. Good. 3 years later, the film swept international awards while domestic media hailed me as the most down-to-earth rural teacher. Internet commentators waxed poetic, conveniently forgetting their former labels of B-list sex symbol. By then, I'd established my own studio. Modest, but mine. Complete control over scripts, schedules, life. Sophia offered to represent me again. boasting about her industry connections. I politely declined. Freedom tastes sweeter than any security. Her expression darkened. Evelyn, don't you trust me? After all we've been through, what are you afraid of? I hesitated for a moment before responding. Sophia, remember what we discussed before? People change, it's an inevitable truth. You might change. I might change. The reason I can't agree is because I want to keep you as a friend forever. Sophia didn't argue at the time, but her dissatisfaction was palpable. After I established my own studio, she gradually drifted away. I accepted this calmly, embracing both the shifting circumstances and the people within them. During those turbulent years, I once took a gamble. I lost. On that flight to the northwest, gazing at the endless sea of white clouds outside the window, I made a vow to myself, for the rest of my life, I would rely on no one but myself. When bonds dissolve, they scatter like clouds, nothing more. This world holds no saviors. Only oneself. I stand alone.